Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. I begin today with just a big thank you, man. We had a great time last night at King's Dining and Entertainment for our mid-year review. We have the best listeners in all of Tennessee, and I'd even go a step further and say that we have the best listeners in all of radio. And I'm telling you that from a standpoint of a guy that has done radio in Boston, Richmond, Detroit, and Pittsburgh. I have never, ever been a part of a station with a great audience like this one, and thank you for everybody that came out and joined us last night. I mean, the house was packed. We had a blast, and we met so many great listeners, as well as seeing some of our favorites return. Shout out to my buddy Scrappy, who is always there. Tammy, we saw Tammy. Tammy was just awesome. She's always tweeting us. And then we had, just all the guys there. Me and Murphy ended up closing that thing out. It's a lot of applause. It's a lot. I was giving him some flowers, but I mean, we don't need
hey, I'm just letting it ride.
We don't need a State of the Union standing O.
Hey,
you know what I mean? Listen, I like you guys. Don't get me wrong. It's just a lot of clapping in my ear.
I thought I'd just let it go until you tell me something.
Mason Fleming is producing. He's the guy behind the clapping and making sure everything sounds great that comes out of your speakers.
Trying.
It's Mason.
I'm trying.
But no, we had a blast, man. Me and Murphy shut the thing down as we usually do. I left. Murphy was the last man standing. Give him his flowers. Give him his flowers. He's going to take all of next week off, though.
Lame.
But he was the last man standing. Did you know that? They got me doing afternoons next week.
Ooh, of course I'm gone during that time, too.
Murphy is, he's getting I don't want to tell his news for you. I don't know if he said anything, but yeah, I'm covering for Murphy next week. Covering for the Murph dog. But Murphy was the last man standing last night. I hung out as long as I could, but I get very, very sleepy. I get very, very sleepy.
Just a little tired.
I was very, very sleepy. But shout out to I closed it out. I was hanging out with was it Jeff, Jason, and Brandon? Just great guys. We were actually talking about that Elon Musk tunnel, and I like Elon. I like tunnels. Not a huge fan of that put together here in Nashville. I'll just be honest with you. I grew up in Boston. And I remember for years and years and years of my life, like a decade of my life, we had the Big Dig. And they were like, we're creating this tunnel. It's gonna fix everything. Everything's gonna be better. Everything is just gonna be so improved. And then it just went on and on and on and on. And I went from riding in the back seat with my parents during the construction to riding in the front seat with my parents during construction to then driving myself during the construction. And by the time they finished, that tunnel didn't make a damn bit of difference. I'll tell you what. It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, with Nashville's reputation on construction, I think it will be it's a good 40-year project.
That's just me personally. I don't know. Maybe they can do it better. Maybe it wasn't Elon that did the Big Dig in Boston. So who knows? Who knows? But I do know. He did the tunnel in Vegas, but Vegas is a different landscape than what we have here in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's a totally different environment.
You're not digging through rock.
Nah.
But hey,
So you're on the side of Afton Bain, is what you're saying.
Who am I? Who am I to say that Elon can't do it? No, I don't want to be on the side of Afton Bain, but I do feel like had you want to attack the project, you can attack it in some very legitimate ways without even mentioning the name Elon. But she didn't want to do that. She wanted to get some clicks.
Yeah.
She's just
a little clout.
Yeah, South African man bad. That's what she's doing.
Ooh,
that's what she's doing. We'll talk about that a little. What, did you like that?
That was good.
I just kind of came up with South African man bad. Who knew that Afton Bain was against African American entrepreneurs?
Ooh,
sounds about right.
Is it just me, or did anybody else notice that? Afton Bain doesn't want African Americans to work in Nashville. It's very disappointing.
Heard it here first.
It's very shocking. Something that will have to be addressed. So we'll talk about that later in the show. I don't know how I got off on the tangent. Oh yeah, because we were talking about it last night at the event. Had a blast. Had a blast at the event. Thank you for everybody showing up. We always have a great time. Joan Jones was there, and as soon as Joan walked in the door, I tell you what, nobody gave a damn about me, Murphy, Mandis, or Benson.
Oh, stop! That's
I swear
not true.
It's so true. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it.
Stop.
You can be humble. You can be humble, but we all know the truth.
We had a good time last night.
Yeah, everybody showed up for Joan.
Stop.
That's the truth. Everybody loves Joan. So thank you guys again for coming out. We really did have a blast, and we appreciate it. I want to start today, and we're going to, Dolly wants to talk about the tunnel. Let's get Dolly on real quick, and then we'll jump into what else we're talking about, because with a name like Dolly, I can't say no. What's up, Dolly?
Hi, good morning.
Your thoughts on the tunnel?
I think it should be above ground. It would cost less. You don't have to dig underground, all that kind of stuff. Have either like a monorail like they have at Disney, or a tunnel train or something like that.
Okay. I don't hate the idea. Yeah, I don't hate the idea at all. But I wonder if that would, and I appreciate the call, Dolly. I wonder if that would preclude Elon from being involved. It also technically would no longer be a tunnel.
Yeah, that's true. What would you call that?
A train?
I mean, well, yes, a train, but like if she said putting a tunnel above the ground. I was like, what would that be? Just a tube?
Joan, ask Grok for me. I don't have any idea.
I'm digging the tube.
We call it the tube.
The tube.
Oh, you know what would happen though?
What would they call it?
People would show up on it drunk, and they would say, "Lube the tube."
No.
That's what they would do. That's what they would do. Get lubed and go on the tube. That's what they would do.
I'd rather keep Afton Bain upset than have to worry about that in the future.
This is true. That's actually a little bit more enjoyable.
They need to look toward Orlando and the incredible service that they have from the Orlando airport.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
I've never done Orlando's airport.
No?
No.
It's kind of impressive.
The
amount of trains they have to get to each of their little gates and whatnot.
It moves.
It flies.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was going to be standing in that line for those trains for like an hour, and it took me 5 minutes to get from one gate to the other.
Really?
It's kind of impressive.
I don't know. I like public transportation. I know everybody kind of like poo-poos on it.
Yeah.
But I like getting to where I get efficiently with a sense of danger. So.
Yeah, well, you got plenty of that. Just watch some videos on X, the New York City subway.
This is true. This is true. All right, so enough about the tunnel, enough about the event. Thank you for coming. If you did, if you didn't, we'll always have another one that will make it out to your neck of the woods. A lot of people were like, "Hey, we've never been to one of your events, but you finally did it in Cool Springs," and that happens every time. We'll be like, "Hey, you're finally in Mount Juliet. You're finally in Murfreesboro." So we'll try to do it in a different locale next time. But thank you to everybody that did show up. Begin today. Put this on the screen for me. I want you guys to see the amount of illegal migrants that have been released into the U.S. in May of 2025. Well, let's start with the number of illegal migrants that were released into the U.S. in May of 2024. That number was 62,000. Okay? Migrants that have been released by border agents into the U.S. May of 2024, 62,000. 62K, all right? May of 2025. Do you have a guess as to what the number might be of migrants that were released into the U.S.?
I would say, but I'm cheating a little bit. If you're on our YouTube page, you could cheat a little bit too.
It's a goose egg, baby.
Big old goose egg.
Zip, zilch, zero, nada. Yes, I mean, we had a 62,000 person decline year over year of illegal migrants released into the United States. Border agents didn't release a single illegal alien into the U.S. last month. Holy cow. This is when we need the clapping. This is Mason. Mason, this is when we need it. That's for the border agents. Whew. I think we need to change the uniform. I think that they need an upgraded uniform, and I think it needs capes. I think they need capes.
Capes and crowns.
They need capes and crowns.
Oh, wait, we don't do kings here.
We don't do kings, but capes.
But they are the greatest of all time.
They're the best. The goats, the goat border agents. It's from 62,000 in May of 2024 to 0 in May of 2025. New York Post puts it this way: Border Patrol agents didn't release a single migrant into the U.S. last month. Since I don't even mean to pause after the first sentence of the article, but I'm still just, are you flabbergasted?
It's great.
I'm flabbergasted. It's the first time I've ever used flabbergasted on the air, I think.
You caught him using new words.
This is what they're doing to me with this kind of news. Staggering drop after the Biden administration allowed 62,000 illegal crossers into the country in May of 2024. The Post can exclusively reveal. During that time, last month, agents caught 8,725 migrants crossing illegally into the U.S. at the southern border. That is still a 93% decrease from May of 2024, when we had 117,905. being nabbed illegally crossing at the southern border. And this is according to internal data that's been obtained by the New York Post. These numbers are staggering. And Acting Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Pete Flores said it's a result of Trump's administration's tough border policies. Isn't it amazing? You know, it's wild to me that they said, we can't do any of this without a bipartisan border bill. And Donald Trump killed that bill. Do you remember that? It was bipartisan. It was bipartisan. All you had to do was enforce the laws on the books. It's working. It's working. One of the most monumental policy changes made by the Trump administration was the reversal of Joe Biden's catch and release scheme, which resulted in millions of illegal border jumpers being allowed into the U.S. And they say under the leadership of this administration, Customs and Border Patrol have received historic support, resulting in another 93% decrease in illegal crossings along the southwest border this month when compared with last year, Flores said in a statement with the Post. Border numbers continue to trend at historic lows, reinforcing the sustained success of our enforcement efforts in securing the homeland and protecting American communities. Border Patrol agents are nearing the goal of gaining full operational control of the southern border, and the massive drops in illegal crossings are helping them get there. National Border Patrol Council President Paul Perez told the Post last week. Under the Biden administration, our agents were pulled off the line. We were all doing processing, detaining, transporting, essentially babysitting. Is that what you want your Border Patrol agents to do? You want them to be babysitters? No, nobody wants that. We want them to enforce the law, and that's what's changed. But Pete Flores said that Perez said that this is why the border was wide open. You had our agents babysitting. No longer is that the case. He said it was unsecured because we didn't have enough agents on the line to actually protect the border, to protect and deter. So now we've got the complete opposite. All of our agents are actually patrolling the border for the first time in many, many years. Tom Homan took to X to comment on this drastic drop. And he said, President Trump's leadership has resulted in the most secure border in this nation's history. In the last 24 hours, the Border Patrol encountered a total of 95 illegal aliens across the entire southern border. 95. 95. That is the lowest number ever recorded. Compare that to the Biden administration, who surpassed more than 10,000 per day. On top of that, they released the vast majority into the U.S. How many were released under the Trump administration in May? 0. Compare that to 62,000 illegal aliens released by Biden in May of last year. To continue this great work and make it more permanent, we need that big, beautiful bill passed so we can finish the job to include the biggest deportation operation the American people voted for. God bless the men and women of CBP and ICE. President Trump is the game changer. This is massive news. And something that, while we understand the big story of the day is going to be Israel and Iran. And Donald Trump was being asked questions about that on the White House lawn a little while ago while he was unveiling. Would you call it a ribbon cutting ceremony for the new flagpoles that he installed? So Trump was asked about the Israel-Iran conflict, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to play you that audio on the way. But I don't want this news to get lost in the shuffle. While there is a great divide within the party about what we should be doing when it comes to Israel and Iran, I just want to point out that this administration is still doing some fantastic work, and it's work that you're not going to hear much about in the mainstream media today. Maybe there'll be a bit of a blip on this story, but I think it deserves to be highlighted because this was one of the main issues in the 2024 election, and Donald Trump is absolutely crushing it. And the Big Blue City enforcement is continuing. And fun fact, it's working. We heard Donald Trump loud and clear when he posted to Truth Social saying that they were going to double down on their efforts in cities like New York, Chicago, and L.A. He has doubled down, and there's a lot of news coming out of Chicago and New York that we're going to touch on when we get back. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
President Trump is speaking out this morning as fighting escalates in the Middle East. Also, what we know about the death of a popular Food Network chef. Those stories coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Mason Fleming is producing. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Love those guys. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, personal favorite, YouTube. The chat's already jumping. You see the chat jumping? Chat's jumping. Join the conversation. You can do it on the YouTube chat. Why do you want to watch the show on YouTube? Well, for all the audio that we play for you, you'll see the video along with it, accompanying it on the YouTube channel. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Hit like and subscribe. Appreciate it when you do so. We're talking about the enforcement that's been happening at the southern border with Donald Trump. It's been absolutely phenomenal to see. They told us that we couldn't do it without more money and more agents and a bipartisan bill, and that was just BS. Donald Trump has also said that he's going to double down on his big blue city enforcement. Those policies are absolutely working. Listen to this story. Post Millennial has it. There was an online portal on the DMV website, okay, in Chicago. An online portal that would allow illegal aliens to get IDs. Okay? Yeah, because it's Chicago, and why not? So they had this online portal set up. And then Trump says, hey, double down. Double down in all the big blue cities, L.A., New York, Chicago. So ICE is like 10-4. So ICE comes around to Chicago, and they start asking questions about the data from this online portal that gives illegal aliens IDs. And then Chicago went, oh, crap. Damn. And they suspended the online portal that would give IDs to illegal aliens. That's amazing. It's amazing what a little poking around will get accomplished. Post Millennial puts it this way. The city of Chicago suspended its online application portal for its City Key ID program, which provides identification cards to all Chicago residents, including illegal aliens. That's what Democrats call them anyway. Residents, members of the community, newcomers, voters, sometimes. The decision came in response to a subpoena from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, that sought the personal information about non-citizen applicants, raising concerns among anti-ICE city officials that the federal agency could use the portal for deportation efforts. Gee whiz, you think? Listen, broke clocks, right? They get it right twice a day. They knew what the data was going to be used for. Anna Valencia, Chicago city clerk, announced the program's suspension on Friday. According to local news, Fox 32, pressure to suspend the program reportedly came from pro-illegal immigrant activists. We did hear, let's pause the online platform temporarily as we take a pulse and evaluate what's happening. We're going to assess what's happening daily and where the climate is. And if we feel we're in a different place, we can easily turn the online platform back on. But we are not going anywhere. They're scared. Can you smell the fear? They're shaking in their boots. They can't lose these illegal aliens. They want them in their city for the representation, the seats that they're going to gain from it, the votes that they might gain from it. We all understand why they want them there. But as soon as ICE starts asking questions, they shut that thing down. Shout out to Donald Trump for the big blue city enforcement. Double down. It's working. It's also working in New York City. And it's working so well in New York City that the governor there, Kathy Hochul, said, you know what? We're going to use some more taxpayer dollars on illegal aliens. I'll break down what she said and why when we get back. 9:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Watch yourself on 24 westbound in Woodbine. There's a crash blocking the right shoulder at I-440. Moments ago, President Trump was asked what he believes Iran should do amid a continued barrage of missiles from Israel.
Two very simple words, very simple, unconditional surrender. That means I've had it. Okay, I've had it. I give up. No more. Then we go blow up all the all the nuclear stuff that's all over the place there.
The president had been speaking from the White House lawn, where two massive flagpoles are being installed, a gift from the president to the American people. Meantime, the International Atomic Energy Agency confirming that Israeli airstrikes hit two centrifuge facilities at a research center in the Iranian capital. Centrifuges are machines used to enrich uranium. When students return to Williamson County schools in the fall, they'll be under a new cell phone policy. This one allows high schoolers to use their phones during lunch break. Patrick Vasnat with the Professional Educators of Tennessee telling Channel 4 that teachers support that ban.
Teachers do notice more active engagement, more interaction between students, more interaction between students and teachers.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee signed a bill recently that restricts the use of cell phones during instructional time. Chef and popular Food Network television host Ann Burrell has died. Police called to her New York City residence yesterday for an unconscious and unresponsive person. The family is not saying how she died. Ann Burrell was 55. Dow Jones Industrials turning up this morning. They're now up 245 points. The Nasdaq is gaining 123. S&P 500 index is up 34. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 9:36, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got Mason Fleming producing. He's one of the best, easily. We got Joan Jones in the newsroom, one of the best, easily. Like, not, it's light work for Joan. And we got some breaking news that is just coming out of the Supreme Court. So why don't you let's hit the sounder and make it official.
This is a breaking news update on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And with that, I think that the only thing that I can do to do this any justice is turn the tables over to our own Joan Jones in the WTN newsroom with this breaking news event. Joan, what do we got?
Yeah, Chris, it's a big Supreme Court ruling, and it's the one about Tennessee's ban on what they like to call gender-affirming care for transgender minors.
Yeah, they always call it gender-affirming care. The liberals always use the language to manipulate you. What it really is child genital mutilation.
And
but,
it's not happening in Tennessee anymore.
Let's go. This is a huge decision. All right, so break it down for me, Joan. What do we know?
So the justices, it was a 6-3 decision. The case effectively protects from any legal challenges the efforts of the Trump administration to stop children from going through these gender-affirming surgeries that their parents allow them to do, and now it's not going to be allowed any longer. You remember Jonathan Skrmetti brought this case.
Yes.
And there are, I think, 26 other states that have similar laws. So this affects all those 26 other states as well. The whole nation was watching this decision.
Incredible.
Yes, because however they decided on this Tennessee case, it's going to be decided for the entire country. And today, children are going to be protected from having these surgeries that change their genders, that turn them into something that God did not make them to be.
Let's go. This is a huge win. Shout out to AG Skrmetti. And shout out to the Lord, man. We all have been praying on this one. This is a massive victory. The ripple effects will be felt throughout this nation for a while.
For a long time.
And I mean, what they do to these kids is awful.
Yes.
It is unbelievable. And all you got to do is meet or speak with a detransitioner. And fun fact, the kids that are going under this gender-affirming care, more often than not, they're autistic. And that autism helps them to hyper-focus on this transition period. And what they really need is some help and some guidance, not someone who's going to enable them to chop off their bits and make forever-changing decisions in their life. This is unbelievably good news.
It is just an incredible story. It's great news, and Tennessee led the way for the entire country in this case.
It's about time that we lead the way.
Yeah.
I feel like so often this state is like the little brother to Florida and Texas, and we're like, hey guys, wait up, we want to come too.
Yeah.
Wait for me, you know, and like you got to walk your bike up the hill because your big brothers still can ride and you're going too slow.
So this not only affects surgeries, but this also affects the puberty blockers and the hormone therapy.
God is so good.
Very good. Praise the Lord. I mean,
I know.
These kids are being saved. Their lives are being saved.
And like even if you are down in the weeds on that liberal ideology, on that radical gender confusing ideology, the puberty blockers don't do what they say it's going to do. It for starters, it leaves the kids sterile forever. That child is no longer going to be able to have children.
And remember when they used to say, "Oh, this is reversible."
It's not.
It's not.
It's not reversible whatsoever. So there's that aspect of it. And then for the advocates who really do want to enable these individuals to go through a full gender transition surgery, the puberty blockers stops that from even being able to happen. Like even the puberty blockers on its face is incompatible with the actual ideology, because I don't know how to put this any other way. If you're a boy, you need a bit more girth down there to do the reverse surgery. So when they put a young boy on these puberty blockers, even if they were to go all the way through with this, they can't anymore. Like it's the craziest thing. But this is an unbelievable day. This is worth celebrating.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
There's so many kids out there whose moms are like just hitting them with that Munchausen syndrome by proxy, and they're just, you know, it's like, oh my gosh. If you're 18 and you have this kind of gender dysphoria, you should seek, a psychiatrist. That's my personal opinion. But if you're 6 and you have this gender dysphoria, your mother should seek a psychiatrist.
Kids at 6 years old cannot decide that they're somebody that they're not.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They're not capable. Their brains aren't formed that way.
No, but you hear these lunatics that will say, "Oh, they know as young as 2. They know as young as 6 months."
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I have to tell my daughter not to put a crayon in her mouth. Yeah, dude, she knows. She knows. Yeah, sure. At 3, just unbelievable. But this is a huge win. So 6-3.
So of course, ideological lines here.
Well,
It was the 3 liberal justices.
3 liberal justices.
all
Well,
the
to be fair,
women, yeah.
Ketanji Brown Jackson doesn't know what a woman is.
Ha,
She's very confused.
yeah. Well, she didn't take anatomy in college or whatever.
This is true. She's
Yeah.
not a biologist.
Right.
She's a Supreme Court justice. Oh my gosh, I was so excited, man. I just texted my wife.
Yeah.
Her response was, "Praise God." This is a God thing. This is like what
Without
we
a
were
doubt.
witnessing with these young kids is nothing short of satanic. It is absolutely nothing short of satanic. I don't. Is that controversial to say? I don't think it is. I think that you're going to be judged as a society by how you treat its weakest members, and what was going on with these kids was awful. Now, all that to say, you're still going to see a lot of this stuff in California. You're still going to see this stuff in states like New York, right? This is only going to affect the states that had a ban in place.
That's correct. That is correct.
So there's no nationwide ban on it,
There's not, but it opens the door.
which is good.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I mean, but you hear, and I bet you these stories are going to get even more prevalent. We had a guy on a couple weeks back, was it a couple months back, Jeff Younger, who he got into a custody battle with his wife.
Yes.
Because
this story is crazy.
it's heartbreaking.
It is.
But the wife fled Texas to bring the son to California, away from Jeff, so that way she could transition his son.
Yes.
And so while this is good and this is a massive win, there's still going to be more evil out there that we need to fight. And we're going to have to continue down this road and be advocates for the kids, because some of these lunatic parents, they're not looking out for their best interest. They're looking for the virtue signaling Facebook post and the social gratification that comes with it, which is just awful. But yeah, Jeff Younger, his wife took his son, messy custody battle, took the kid to California, and is now transitioning the son without the husband's consent. So I think that while we can celebrate the win, it's going to open doors for more stories like this, like Jeff's, and that's heartbreaking. But we got to celebrate the wins when we get them. So the Supreme Court holding a 6-3 decision that state laws prohibiting transgender care do not receive heightened scrutiny under the 14th Amendment and satisfy RBR. Excellent news. And even Amy Coney Barrett was on our
we even
side.
got Amy. How about that?
Yeah, I know. Listen, broke clocks. They're right every now and again.
Justice Sam Alito citing hotly disputed medical studies on the alleged benefits of the medical treatments that were given to these kids. He referred to other research from Great Britain and from Sweden that reported on the negative consequences that teens experience after undergoing these gender transition treatments.
Well, that's one of the things that they do. The doctors and Chloe Cole has that story,
Yes.
and she said, it's not just like they're duping the kids in some cases. In some cases, the parents are lunatics, but in some cases, it's like the parents are duped by the medical industrial complex too, where they'll look at the mom or the dad and they'll say, you can either have your daughter become a boy or your daughter commit suicide. Go. And it's like that's not the choice
It's
here.
not the choice.
That's not the choice.
No.
But you're manipulating individuals with fear, and that is heartbreaking. But that's happened so many times. And Chloe Cole, she's actually putting out a movie about her story.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, because she understands that it was part of the autism that she dealt with that got her hyper focused on the transitioning.
Yes.
It was the love bombing online, and then it was the medical industrial complex co-signing her statements with her parents to make it seem like this is real and we need to do something. We need to act fast. But the studies out there don't show that this lowers suicidal ideation at all. In fact, there are studies out there that'll say your risk of suicide, your thoughts of suicide actually will increase after this. And
Yes.
it's just, you see it. All the pictures online, the before and afters of these. You'll take these beautiful young girls or beautiful young boys, and you transform them into something just ungodly that doesn't look like what God intended at all.
It's Chloe Cole has that very deep voice too, and I think she's got the Adam's apple. I mean, she'll never lose those things.
No,
She'll never lose that now.
and that's from those puberty
Yes.
blockers and the testosterone and those different kind of drugs that they put these kids on. It
Yes.
is so heartbreaking.
So at issue in this case, now I'm just reading through all this because it's brand new.
Yeah.
The U.S. versus Scrimeti was whether Tennessee's Senate Bill 1, which prohibits all medical treatments intended to allow a minor to identify with or live as a purported identity inconsistent with the minor's sex, or to treat purported discomfort or distress from a discordance between the minor's sex and asserted identity. That it violates the issue here was the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. So, writing for the majority, Chief Justice John Roberts said that the law in question is not subject to heightened scrutiny because it doesn't classify on any bases that warrant heightened review.
Crazy
Yes.
good news. This is something that we'll definitely be covering. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of screeching and reaction from the left today.
It's so hard to find a story in the news articles that don't take the side of, that don't say something like this sets transgender rights back 100 years. This, is a blow for transgenders. Nobody's saying, with the exception of a very few news organizations, that children are being saved.
Yeah,
They're being saved.
You're absolutely right. This is a huge win for kids that won't have to go through with this any longer. Turning Point USA actually did a really good movie on this that was distributed by the Daily Wire called Identity Crisis. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's definitely worth a watch, especially if you have a Daily Wire subscription.
Yes.
Because they distribute it through there. But Chloe Cole is in that movie, and she says, listen, watch the movie. It's a comprehensive indictment of gender ideology, gut-wrenching, emotional, and it showcases the consequences of the lies and butchery. And that word butchery,
yeah.
it's absolutely right. It's you butcher these beautiful kids.
Yes.
So
If you want to do it when you're an adult, that's on you.
yeah,
But for children to go through this,
yep.
it's horrifying.
And it's heartbreaking for the parents too. Mason just reminded me that interview that we had with Jeff Younger, the father who had his son ripped away from him by the wife. And is now having the son go through gender transition against his wishes. If you wanted to watch that interview, you can jump on our YouTube page. It's titled "A Heart-Wrenching Story of a Family Being Torn Apart." And if you look at the thumbnail, it says, "My ex-wife is trying to castrate my son." And that's really what these procedures do to little boys. And, what the procedure does to little girls is awful as well. But this is a huge win. Hopefully, we see the ripple effect out of this, and we see a lot of positive. As reaction comes in, we'll bring it to you here on Super Talk, because this is going to be a big story today. It's big story after big story after big story, isn't it, Joan?
It really is. And there's so many more challenges to laws that the Supreme Court has to come up with an answer to within the next couple of weeks. Generally, we look for these on Thursday. Today is Wednesday. So, I mean, it's the surprises keep coming, not just the decisions, but the days. There's so much. It's a fire hose of information and wins that we've been seeing. And this is just one of the biggest ones for this country.
Yeah, and we got a few more on the way. I know birthright citizenship is one that is going to be a hotly contested debate, and I wonder which way that they're going to lean on that. Amy Coney Barrett was on our side this time. Is she going to be on our side that time? We'll find out. The Supreme Court, though, today answering a lot of prayers, and for that, we thank them. It's 9:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Up ahead, more on that stunning Supreme Court ruling today that stops children from being transitioned sexually by their parents. This ruling just coming out moments ago, and we've got more from NBC and from other sources today. Also, we'll talk about what's happening in Israel at this moment, and as the airstrikes there have intensified over Iran. That's all coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Skirmetti is currently trending on X. I don't know. I wonder why. Base Skirmetti. We should just start calling him Based and Honorable Skirmetti. That's unbelievable. Chloe Cole, we were talking about her a moment ago. She is an individual who attempted to transition, then detransitioned after she realized the lies that she was being fed by leftist ideology when it came to gender mutilation for minors. Chloe Cole celebrating on X moments ago, excuse me, saying, "We did it." Moments ago, the Supreme Court upheld Tennessee's child protection law in Skirmetti 6-3. My heart is overflowing with gratitude. Every child in America is now safer. Thank you to the state of Tennessee, the parents who never backed down, and every detransitioner who shared the truth. This victory is ours. I don't know about you, but this is the best news that I've heard in quite some time. Quite some time. This is a story that's definitely going to be developing as the day goes along, and as we get reaction, because you know we will. You know that there are going to be leftists that are coming out and screaming about this, how kids are less safe, kids are going to commit suicide. We're going to bring you that reaction. They're probably waiting for their talking points from their Democrat leads as we speak. And as soon as they get the bullet points, you know they're going to run to a camera. And as that reaction comes in, we'll bring it to you here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. On the way, I do have a little bit more on immigration. I had teased it before this SCOTUS ruling came down, but the big blue city enforcement, the double down from Donald Trump continues. And he's making some moves in New York. So then the Democrat governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, she's making some moves too. Her moves will waste a bit more of taxpayer dollars, so for illegal aliens. We'll talk about it when we get back. 10 o'clock, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And the top story at this hour, the major win from the Supreme Court, which today upheld the Tennessee law that bans transition surgeries, hormones, and therapies that are designed to change a child's sex. Now, this ruling will cover the 24 other states that have also enacted similar laws.
Some 20 other states have passed laws similar to this. The High Court isn't saying that hormone therapy and puberty blockers are off limits in the state of New York, but they are saying in the states that want to pass those types of bans, you can do it.
Including here in Tennessee. That's Laura Jarrett on NBC. The opinion authored by Chief Justice John Roberts concluded that the Tennessee law does not constitute a form of sex discrimination that would violate the Constitution's 14th Amendment. More on this throughout the day and reaction as well. Intense Israeli airstrikes are being reported in Tehran even at this hour. Just another effort to squeeze Iran into surrendering. Former State Department official and ABC News military analyst Steve Ganyard.
The key here is how long can the regime hold out, because they know they are defenseless. The Israelis have been very deliberate. They've been taking down all the leadership of the military. They took down all of the senior scientists, nuclear scientists. They've been going step by step, city by city, working on taking down not only the military infrastructure, but putting pressure on the Iranian economy by taking off domestic gasoline production, oil, petroleum, refinery capabilities. And so there's tightening the screws on not only the regime, but on the Iranian people.
Iran's leader saying that the Iranian nation will not surrender. A former Franklin soccer coach pleading guilty to charges that he drugged and raped several young boys. Channel 4's Alexandria Adams.
Camilo Campos Hurtado here pleaded guilty to charges including exploitation of a minor and possessing fraudulent immigration documents. Campos will be sentenced in October. He faces a minimum of 15 years in prison.
The victims were as young as 9 years old. Elon Musk wants to build a tunnel to link downtown Nashville to the airport. It's a project that has been in the first stages of talks for several months. Democrat state lawmaker, though, one of them is doing everything she can to prevent it.
Elon Musk is an absolute grifter and scammer, and he has ongoing deals and pitches to cities across the country in which those promises have been unfulfilled.
Afton Bain there, she has started a petition to block that project, and she wants lawmakers to focus instead on fixing state roads, increasing mass transit, and fast-tracking a light rail system. That is the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
.10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Just a heads up, I did reach out to AG Skermetti's people.
Ooh.
To see if he could jump on. I don't know if he has time. He might be a little bit busy, given everything going on. And I do know that he has a good relationship with Murphy. So I'm sure at a certain point, AG Skermetti will be on the radio station to comment on this massive SCOTUS win. If it happens during this show, I'm just going to stop whatever we're doing and we'll break
we'll jump
that.
into it. Yeah.
So I reached out to them. I haven't heard back yet, but just letting you know. I'm really excited, man. It's a big deal. Big deal in that SCOTUS decision. But there's a lot of other news going on today that we definitely want to get to. For starters, Donald Trump doubling down on the big blue cities and the immigration enforcement. We have talked about this quite a bit. There's some cool stuff happening behind the scenes, though, that you might not be paying attention to. For starters, the self-deportation program, it's working, and it's working better than a lot of people could have imagined. We're now close to just about 1 million self-deportations under Donald Trump. It's unbelievable. Now, on top of that, we learned yesterday that the Trump effect is in full effect, and the amount of illegal migrants released into the United States in the month of May last year in 2024 was 64,000. Today, 2025, May, that number, my friends, is 0. Zilch, nada, zip. Who knew? All you have to do is enforce the laws on the books. And Donald Trump is going to continue that enforcement operation. And he's been pushing for more enforcement in the big blue cities. We talked about Chicago. ICE was poking around their DMV. They had this online portal to get anybody IDs, including and up to and including illegal aliens. ICE started poking around for data, and Chicago shut that online portal down. I love it. In New York, the enforcement has caused the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, to do something pretty radical. And I don't say that lightly, right? Like New York and radical. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It goes together. What was it in Big Daddy? Remember Rob Schneider's character? He's like pork chop and spaghetti. It's like they go together. They just, two peas in a pod. So they're radical in New York, right? This is what we've come to appreciate. But Kathy Hochul is so concerned about what the Trump administration is doing to illegal aliens. She's got a new plan. And spoiler alert, the plan involves throwing taxpayer money at the illegal aliens again.
That are walking out of this courthouse, taken away from their families. They don't have the attention. They don't have the lawyers. And that's why the state of New York is providing $50 million to cover legal services for people who are finding themselves in this situation.
What situation? What situation is that? Being an illegal alien, gang member, murderer, child rapist, TDA member, terrorist, MS-13 gang member. You find yourself in that situation, and you happen to be in New York, and the federal government wants to deport you, so it's a tough situation to be in. And if you find yourself in that situation, well, now the state of New York is going to bail you out with taxpayer money for your lawyer. It's funny, though. It's funny. If you were an American citizen, would you get the same? Would you get the same? I wonder too. Is this going to be a step above public defenders? You would imagine, right? $50 million. You know Joe Bob? He's been on the show before. He hosts Turning Point Tonight on Real America's Voice. He put out a reel the other day. He's like, what are these Democrats going to campaign on? Are your taxes too low? It's like, I mean, at a certain point, this is becoming hysterical. And Kathy Hochul, they haven't spent enough on illegal aliens in New York, right? The hotels, the food, the education, the shelters, the health care. They haven't spent enough.
Anybody want to move to New York right now?
Who wants to move to New York? It's so crazy, dude.
Well, I want to pay those high property taxes.
Man, like when I was younger, so like when I was getting into radio, I was like, ooh, maybe I can go work at Sirius XM in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And so like I had that dream. When my wife worked for the record company, we're like, when we just had one kid, we're like, oh, maybe we could do this New York thing. You know, we'd spend like a week there and you be going to the offices and like, ooh, that'd be fun. Nowadays, are you kidding me?
Absolutely not.
No way. Even in the last 10 years, it is a completely different city. Who wants to move to New York where your tax dollars are going to go to the lawyer fees of illegal aliens? It's nice.
Just what they want.
That's nice. That's unbelievable. Oh, my gosh. It's embarrassing. This embarrassing. $50 million for illegals. Not to be outdone, there's a New York City mayoral candidate who's also doing embarrassing things in New York. This guy got arrested for obstructing ICE officials at a courthouse. His name is Brad Lander. This story broke yesterday. He got arrested. We talked about it a little bit last night while we were at our mid-year review. But this is going to become a campaign thing for him, right? Like, I fought the good fight and I got arrested, but it was a mess. New York City comptroller and mayoral candidate Brad Lander was arrested yesterday by ICE agents after obstructing the operation at a federal immigration court. His primary is going to be on June 24th. So they got a primary to find out who's going to be the mayoral candidate, right? On the 24th, 6 days from now. This is probably going to help this guy, don't you think? Being arrested by ICE agents. Brad Lander's wife, Meg Barnett took to Lander's X account following the arrest and said, while escorting a defendant out of immigration court at 26 Federal Plaza, Brad was taken by masked agents and detained by ICE. This is still developing, and our team is monitoring the situation closely. While escorting a defendant out of immigration court? It's funny how they phrase it, but what he was really doing was trying to evade ICE authorities. And everybody knows it. Spoiler alert. The New York Times was all torn up about how to write this. Put this on the screen for me. It's two headlines, back to back, if you could throw it up on the YouTube channel. The first one, the original headline that they wrote was, Brad Lander's arrested by ICE agents at the immigration courthouse. That's the headline, okay? Then there's a subheadline. The subtext says, Mr. Lander, this is the first one, Mr. Lander, the New York City comptroller and a candidate for mayor, was handcuffed as he tried to steer a man past immigration and customs enforcement officers. Then they tweaked it, and they said, as he tried to escort a migrant whom agents were seeking to arrest. The first one was he tried to escort a migrant whom agents were seeking to arrest. The second one was tried to steer a man past immigration and customs enforcement officers. You know, it's always a war of words here. It's an absolute mess. Shout out to Western Lensman on Twitter for noticing that. But yeah, another Democrat arrested. This time it was New York City's comptroller, Brad Lander. He was released from ICE yesterday. The scene when he was arrested inside that immigration court was a bit chaotic, if you will. Yeah, I'm gonna mute it, but you can, if you're watching on the stream, you'll be able to see this guy. I mean, he's getting pulled out of there. They tried to do exactly what Judge Hannah Dugan did, get an illegal alien away from ICE officials, and he tried to do that. And what's the old saying? F-A-F-O? I think that's the old saying. F-A-F-O. This is probably going to help this guy, though. So weird. Like, I like seeing him get arrested, but I also don't want it to help him. Lander was seen on video being pried away from the detainee while yelling, I would like to see the warrant, and then I will go. After his grip was pried away from the detainee, a person was heard saying, take him in. The man who Lander was holding on to had his asylum case dismissed in the courtroom. The Lander is screaming in the video, you don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens. I'm not obstructing. I'm standing right here in the hallway. I asked to see the judicial warrant. Bill Malugin, he weighed in on it, and he said, based on this video, this is pretty blatant interference with ICE by Landers. You can see him locking arms with ICE's target. He refuses to let go, saying he wants to see a judicial warrant first. ICE does not need a judicial warrant to make an arrest, nor would they have to show it to Landers because he asked for it. Physically interfering like this is exactly what Tom Homan has repeatedly warned would lead to potential federal prosecution. We'll see what happens here. I hope he does get Fed charges. How funny would it be? How funny would it be, right? If, maybe this is just my own twisted sense of humor. How funny would it be if this guy wins the primary based off of this, right? Then he gets charged with a federal felony and he loses his right to vote. And then he can't vote for himself in the election. Am I the only one that would think that would be awesome? Like a little poetic justice. Imagine, well, he lost by one vote. Can you imagine? Wouldn't that be poetry? I feel like it would be. Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. I know. He said in the video, you have no authority to arrest U.S. citizens. Why are you taking me? Because you're hanging on to an illegal alien for dear life, an illegal alien that just had his asylum claims dismissed in court, and ICE officials are trying to get him so that way they can send him out of the country. Why are you detaining me? Where are you taking me? To jail. Taking you to jail. Yep, so New York City comptroller Brad Lander arrested by ICE agents. I'm here for it. Homeland Security put out a statement on X, as they tend to do, and they said New York City Comptroller Brad Lander was arrested for assaulting law enforcement and impeding a federal officer. Our heroic ICE law enforcement officers face a 413% increase in assaults against them. It is wrong that politicians seeking higher office undermine law enforcement safety to get a viral moment. No one is above the law, and if you lay a hand on law enforcement officer, you will face consequences. I love that Homeland Security in this post called him out for exactly what he's doing. seeking a viral moment. We were talking last night, and the mayor, Freddie, heartbroken Freddie, Freddie came up, and we were talking about Freddie, and we were talking about the immigration raids, and I forget who made the point. Maybe it was Joan that made the point, but somebody made the point. It might have been Dan too. It was one of those guys, but somebody made the point that the immigration raids actually hurt Freddie O'Connell because he wasn't strong enough. He didn't go out and do what Brad Lander did and hold on to an illegal alien and say, you're not taking him. If you take him, you got to take me too. And so the left is looking for martyrs in these situations. Brad Lander knew what he was doing. This is going to help him get that election win. But hopefully he's charged and convicted of that felony. I imagine he will be, and he's going to find out. Fun fact, it was about a year ago, May 30th, 2024, Brad Lander, the same guy who just got arrested, May 30th, 2024, tweeted out, "No one is above the law." Fact check true. Fact check true, Brad. This is a wild time. Wild time. Then another mayoral candidate. This guy has been promising like free healthcare to everybody and grocery store controls, price controls, and stuff like that. This mayoral candidate is Zoran Mamandi. He's been putting out campaign ads in various languages to address different populations in New York City. But he had comments after Brad Lander was arrested by ICE for breaking the law. This is what he had to say.
From the collaboration and the cowardice we have seen, and what Brad did was engage in that very moment of courage. He showed us what leadership can look like.
He's doing the stunning and brave thing. That's what you're going. Stunning and brave. What Brad did was stunning and brave. That's what they always do. Anytime they're doing something outlandish, stunning and brave. Stunning and brave.
You sure about that?
That's what they tell me.
And for that, he was arrested. And we have to be clear about this. This is not about an election. This is about ensuring that we protect the city and the country that we love.
That's what ICE is trying to do. That's what they're trying to do. By getting out illegal aliens, criminals, rapists, murderers, gang members, child rapists. I mean, the list goes on. They're trying to make New York City a safer place. But Brad is stunning and brave. Did you know that the New York City comptroller, Brad Lander, got arrested for being stunning and brave yesterday? He did. He did. Yeah. What are your charges? Being stunning and brave. Geez. I don't know if that'll hold up.
This is about ensuring that immigrant New Yorkers who come here for regular check-ins do not need to fear being separated from their families in the most brutal and cruel ways imaginable. And we know that today's arrest is but one example of what ICE is doing every single day across this country.
Holding Democrats accountable when they break the law? Yeah.
And as much as we speak about it in the context of Los Angeles, we also know that authoritarianism is here in New York City.
Yeah. Oh, it's authoritarianism. No one is above the law. That's a quote from Brad Lander. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. We got a lot more to cover. I'm going to bring you some comments from Donald Trump this morning on the White House lawn. They were doing the ribbon cutting for the flagpoles, and he had a lot to say about Iran. Plus, on the way, we have a great back and forth, a volley, if you will. Ted Cruz, Tucker Carlson. I'm going to bring that to you as well. It's 10:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Up ahead here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Today's Supreme Court ruling on sex transitions for minors has far-reaching implications. Also, President Trump minces no words for Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Stick around. That's at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 1025 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Mason Fleming producing. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Love those guys. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I didn't mention this earlier, and forgive me for not mentioning it, but I feel like we should mention it real quick. There's a guy that deserves some flowers besides Skrmetti after this SCOTUS decision. That man is Matt Walsh, 100% Matt Walsh. Now, the Daily Wire guys oftentimes get grief from the locals for not doing things in Tennessee, for focusing more nationally. And I just want to point out, Matt Walsh has been instrumental in this fight for exposing the radical ideology that is gender-affirming care on minors. He changed the game. He opened a lot of eyes. And that documentary, What is a Woman, it was a game changer. Matt Walsh has been on the front lines of this for a long time. I don't know Matt. I've never met Matt. Respect the hell out of him. Actually do enjoy his show quite a bit. Big fan. But he posted online on X just a little while ago. This was about an hour. And he said, 3 years ago, we launched our investigation into Vanderbilt's child mutilation practices. We rallied in the state capitol. Our lawmakers responded with a law banning child mutilation in the state. Today, the Supreme Court upheld our law, which means child mutilation can be banned anywhere and everywhere in this country and should be. This is a truly historic victory, and I'm grateful to be a part of it, along with so many others who have fought relentlessly for years. And I just want to listen, on behalf of all Tennesseans, I do want to thank you, Matt Walsh. Just one dad to another, thank you. I appreciate what you've done in this fight. And I don't know if you'll ever hear it. Hope you do. But God bless you, man. And thank you for what you've done. The Daily Wire guys do get some grief for that. Just, at least I hear it. I don't know if they hear it. But this is absolutely Matt Walsh impacting local politics here and then nationwide as well. So shout out to Matt Walsh. That story was huge. We can't thank him enough for the work that he did. Honestly, just dads in general should look at that guy and say thank you. And I'm saying thank you. That being said, we got a lot more news to cover. Enough flower giving, but you had to do it. You had to do it. Donald Trump, Iran. He was talking about it this morning as he was giving his statements on the flagpoles at the White House. And, they got the new flagpoles. Donald Trump paid for them. It's weird that they didn't have flagpoles to begin with. They didn't. Isn't that crazy that they didn't have flagpoles at the White House? But they started asking Donald Trump a bunch of questions and questions about war with Iran, as one would imagine. And Donald Trump didn't hold back. Now, if you're a regular of watching the show on YouTube, you'll notice a familiar face in frame while Donald Trump is answering these questions. It's our own White House reporter from Turning Point USA, Monica Page. She's right there in the front taking it all in as Donald Trump answers this question on Iran. Listen to this.
Some of the people in the base don't want a long-term war. They're afraid that we're going to get into a long-term war.
We're not looking for a long-term war. We're looking. I only want one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
That's it. I'm not looking long-term, short-term. And I've been saying that for 20 years. I've been saying it as a civilian who got a lot of publicity. People would cover it. Very simply, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's it. It's not a question of anything else. And if you did, you wouldn't have much of a country because they would use it on us and they'd use it on other people and they'd be a terror all over the world.
The only thing he's saying is Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. He's not looking for a long-term war. He's not talking about long-term war. He's not talking about short-term war. The only thing he's talking about is Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I also don't want a long-term war with Iran. It does appear that Donald Trump is listening to the base, and the base is getting loud. It's divided on this as well. Some of the most division I've seen in the MAGA base in a decade is on this topic. We'll talk about it a lot more, plus take some of your phone calls on the flip side of the news, 615-737-9986. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good Good morning, 10:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. More on our breaking news of the day as the Supreme Court ruled that it has that the Tennessee law that bans transgender medical procedures for adolescents in the state is not discriminatory, ruling 6-3 to uphold the law. At issue is whether the law violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. MSNBC legal analyst Denny Savelos.
When you have an equal protection challenge, that means that the law makes classifications based on a protected class. And if the distinctions are not based on a protected class, a non-protected class, like, for example, medical diagnoses, then the state has a lot of discretion, and the court really, really emphasized that.
All three liberal justices dissented in this case. Now, the Tennessee law in question prohibits states from allowing medical providers to deliver puberty blockers and hormones to facilitate a minor's transition to another sex. Metro Council adopting a new budget. This one runs $3.8 billion. And Metro employees will get a 2% pay increase. There's also money for parks, doulas for pregnant women, and food assistance programs. To pay for it all, property taxes were hiked to $2.81 per $100 of assessed value.
And it really feels like this cake was baked before it actually got here. We got 20,000 here, 80,000 there, a little bit there, little sprinkles on the top, or maybe flavoring the icing a little bit. But this thing was fully baked when we got it.
Councilmember Jeff Eslick there. The new budget takes effect on July 1st. We are awaiting the Federal Reserve's decision on whether to cut interest rates. And President Trump telling reporters this morning that he has tried to convince Fed Chair Jerome Powell to make those cuts.
I go, I'm too late. Come on, too late. Let's have dinner. I do it every way in the book. I'm nasty. I'm nice. Nothing works. She's like just a stupid person.
Stocks are trading higher ahead of that decision. That is the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock store. They got this crazy good deal that you're going to want to take advantage of before it's gone. I'm not going to tell you I'm a gun guru. I would be lying to you. But I do know a couple things. I know Glocks are the gold standard, top-notch quality without breaking the bank. And sure, you could always grab a cheaper handgun. Why would you want to do that when you can't beat a Glock for the price? Normally, a Glock will run you around $600. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. But you could actually get one for a little bit cheaper right now at the Glock store. They're slinging factory rebuilt Glocks. What does that mean? Have you ever bought a refurbished iPhone or a refurbished TV? What they do is they have a display model. They send it back to the store. They get it back, factory warranty, and it's all fixed up. They're doing the same thing with Glocks at the Glock store. So this is a display model that had a tiny scratch or a brand new one with a slight blemish. They'll get a full makeover. They'll come out perfect with a full factory warranty. And the best part is you'll save $100 buying that. That's $100 you can use on ammo, accessories, or maybe even a victory beer. Swing by the Glock store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, or glockstore.com and search factory rebuilt. If it looks the same, shoots the same, feels the same, why are you paying more? Get to the Glock store today.
Some of the people in the base don't want a long-term war. They're afraid that we're going to get into a long-term war.
We're not looking for a long-term war. We're looking. I only want one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
That's it. I'm not looking long-term, short-term. And I've been saying that for 20 years. I've been saying it as a civilian who got a lot of publicity. People would cover it. Very simply, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's it. It's not a question of anything else. And if you did, you wouldn't have much of a country because they would use it on us and they'd use it on other people and there'd be a terror all over the world.
That's Donald Trump this morning. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Donald Trump this morning, they were doing the ribbon cutting for the 2 new flagpoles over there at the White House. Flagpoles he paid for himself. Weird that they didn't have one in the first place.
Yeah, you would think they would have him up there, but I guess the president wasn't used to saluting the flag normally. So.
No, at least not the
Before
last
him.
one. Yeah. They had pride flags hung up last time.
Ugh.
I know it. But he was asked about war with Iran. Now, a lot of individuals are out there just clamoring for regime change. Donald Trump is not one of those individuals. Now, is he speaking tough against Iran on social media? Absolutely. I actually liked the warning that he had for the Ayatollah, saying, "We know exactly where you are. You're safe for now." I thought that was pretty based. I'm not going to lie to you. And it kind of gave me memories of how he dealt with the Rocket Man. Like, hey, I have a button too. Mine works. So, do with that what you will. I like that posturing. One of the reasons that we elected Donald Trump is because he has that right level of crazy. I mean, we talked about it in the past, right? Where he had said, if Russia did, I forget what the exact case in point was, but if Russia had done something, he would bomb Moscow. And they said, did he believe you? Did Putin believe you when you said that? And he goes, 10%, but that's enough. That's all it takes, 10%. I think that Donald Trump has that unpredictability around him, and that's good. It's good to have. I will say this, though. He hasn't been out there advocating for regime change. He hasn't been out there advocating for a long-term war with Iran. He doesn't seem to be trying to sell his base on that. He just seems to be sticking true to what he's always said. And I respect that. I do. That being said, I do get nervous about the people around Trump and the absolute frothing of the mouth that you get from some of these neocons who all they want is war. It seems like they're dying for war. They would love it. Senator James Lankford, who you may remember as the Republican from the disastrous bipartisan border bill, he went on CNN yesterday and he explicitly called for regime change. And maybe this knucklehead just thinks he's got nothing left to lose because we all remember how disastrous that bipartisan border bill was, and nobody's going to vote for him in Oklahoma. Perhaps. But he goes on CNN, and he just acts like a total warmonger. I mean, and we got to have regime change in the region. And CNN, I mean, listen to this. When do you see CNN not interrupting a Republican and pushing back on the narrative that they're pushing? This is how you know it's a bit of an issue that is engulfing the uniparty, if you will, and Langford is part of that because CNN doesn't push back on this at all. They're fine with him going on and advocating for war and regime change. Listen to this.
So speaking of the Supreme Leader, the president posted on his Truth Social platform that America knows where he is, that we could, it implied, assassinate him, but we will not for the moment. Do you think the United States should assassinate the Supreme Leader if they can?
The assassination of any individual and any foreign dignitary or leader on this, but we most certainly need to have regime change in Iran. This is the same regime that's threatened America and Americans. This is the same regime that oppresses their own people, that they use the money that they get from oil money to be able to put towards terrorism, to be able to kill us and our allies. They chant death to America in the streets. We definitely need a new regime there, but that's not necessarily saying that we need to be able to assassinate the Ayatollah as well. But we definitely need to have new leadership there.
We definitely need to have new leadership there, they say. We definitely have to. Okay, well, who are you going to replace him with? And how has that worked in other countries? Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq. I mean, we've done this ad nauseum. And he's just advocating for regime change. CNN doesn't push back at all. Not one bit. So weird. So weird. So Langford's out there calling for regime change. Lindsey Graham has been calling for regime change since, October 8th? I mean, Lindsey Graham has been calling for regime change for the longest time. He went on Fox News. And you'll notice on these cable news networks, it seems like the only Republicans that they're having on are the ones that want regime change, that want war. At least that's what I've noticed. Have you seen it? Have you seen anybody else not advocating for war on these networks? I have missed it if it's happened. And I could be wrong, but I haven't seen it at all. Lindsey Graham goes on Fox News. And Lindsey Graham actually declared on Fox News that U.S. service members want and are willing to be on the front lines and die to stop Iran from getting a nuke. And I just wonder if that's true.
Can you guarantee that? Can President Trump in any form, can you make the commitment that this would not lead to a longer war?
I can guarantee you that if the Ayatollah gets a nuclear weapon, he will use it. I believe that with all my heart and soul. So the men and women who serve, they're the ones going, not people answering a poll. And if you ask them, would you be willing to risk your life to stop the Ayatollah from having a nuclear weapon? All of them would say yes, because it makes their country, our country, safer. So we live in a world where you've got to confront problems. You want to avoid World War III? Learn the lessons from World War II. People in World War II appeased Hitler to the point that it got so much out of hand, we had a world war and 60 million people got killed. So we live in a world where you pay now or you pay later. Let's stop this threat before he gets a nuclear weapon. Let's end this reign of terror. Let's do it now. It's not going to take 20 months, but I can't guarantee you your freedom and your safety unless we're willing to fight for it. I can guarantee you this. If we don't fight for our freedom, we will lose it.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I don't think Iran is going to take our freedom. He also said that a war with Iran wouldn't take 20 months. And we all remember with Iraq, they told us shock and awe will take over that country in a week. Fast forward 20 years, we got nothing out of that deal except for death and debt and chaos in the region. They told us democracy would sweep over the region. Remember that? I remember that. Side note, only 34% of South Carolina Republican voters want Lindsey Graham in the 2026 primary. 45% would prefer a challenger. Nobody likes this guy anymore. And a lot of people that did like him are like, why did we like him? Why was it that we liked Lindsey Graham? He's a notorious war hawk. Notorious. He's never met a war that he didn't want to send soldiers to. And I think that that's ridiculous. I do. Ted Cruz has also been advocating for regime change. He sat down with Tucker Carlson, and I loved this interview. I don't know if you've heard it, but I thought it was great. And Ted Cruz seemed woefully unprepared. Just spoiler alert. He wasn't ready for this conversation with Tucker Carlson. Woefully unprepared. Dan, me, we're talking about this earlier this morning. Dan was like, I'm on Ted's side, but there's an arrogance there. He wasn't really ready for this interview. And I'm on Tucker's side, obviously. I think I've made that pretty clear that I don't want a long-term war. It's going to stretch out, and it's going to be my sons fighting it. I don't see the benefits there. But we can debate about that ad nauseum. I want you to listen to this though, between Tucker and Ted Cruz, and listen to the answers from Ted Cruz, who's advocating for the war and advocating for regime change, when Tucker starts asking him basic questions about Iran, the country that he wants to topple.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population. At all? No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay. Yeah, how could you not know that? I don't sit around memorizing population tables. Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government. Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant? Because if you don't know anything about the country... I didn't say I don't know anything about the country. Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran? They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, it's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran. You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government. You're the one who claims... You don't know anything about the country. No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. No,
the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out
I'm
if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here, because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
This is
Israel.
high stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay. It is high stakes. People are listening. Now, listen, that last thing was a bit of a flub, and I'll give him that. You know what I mean? And Tucker sunk his teeth into it because he saw it as red meat. Totally get it. But the initial interaction, it really is important to highlight. It reminded me of Vivek Ramaswamy versus Nikki Haley on that debate stage during the Republican primaries, where he said, all these people are advocating to send our sons and daughters into Ukraine to fight against the Russians. Can you name 3 provinces in Ukraine? And Nikki Haley stood there dumbfounded because she couldn't. And it really does give me flashbacks to that. Like, okay, what's the population of Iran? Well, why is that important? Well, it's very important, actually. You got 92 million people there. What's the racial demographic, the ideological demographics as well in Iran? Well, there's 12 different groups. That's a big deal. Because if you remove the leader, who fills that void? And that's a question that nobody seems to be able to answer. Lindsey Graham said, well, we'll fill it with something better. Okay, elaborate by all means. But what you're going to do is you're going to destabilize that country even further and send it into a civil war, but not a simple civil war where it's North versus South. You got 12 different ethnic groups in Iran. 12. 92 million people. Every single one of those groups are going to be vying for power. They don't think about the unintended consequences. That's not where they're at. Tucker exposed Ted Cruz there. He did. They keep going in the conversation, and they got to the topic of Mossad, and they started talking about Mossad, and Tucker wanted to know Ted Cruz's opinion on the intelligence agency of Israel, and he asked him, does Mossad share intel with us? A lot of the posturing has been, listen, we'll share intel with them and we'll help them defensively. So Tucker says, okay, does Mossad share intel with us? And then he elaborated with a follow-up. Does Mossad spy on us? And this interaction between them is just as interesting as the one previously.
Does Mossad share all of its intelligence with us?
Oh, probably not, but they share a lot. We don't share all of our intelligence with them, but we share a lot. It's a close alliance.
Do they spy domestically in the United States?
Oh, they probably do, and we do as well. And friends and allies spy on each other, and I assume all of our allies spy on us.
And that's okay with you?
You know what? One of the things about being a conservative is that you're not naive and utopian. You don't think humans are all... Part of the reason socialism doesn't work is the mantra from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs doesn't work. As a conservative, I assume people act in their rational self-interest.
So it's conservative to pay people to spy on you?
It's conservative to recognize that human beings act in their own self-interest, and every one of our friends spies on us, and I'm not...
Do you like it? That's my question. I'm not asking whether they have motive to do it. Of course they do. I understand that, and
by the way,
I'm not mad at them. But you're an American lawmaker, so I just want to know. Hold on, I want to know your attitude. Yeah. You said that your guiding principle, in fact, the only principle, the only criterion.
I said guiding, the overwhelming. I wouldn't say only.
Is it in America's interest? Is it in America's interest for Israel to spy on us, including on the president?
It is in America's interest to be closely allied with Israel because we get huge benefits for it. And you want to see the clearest...
But I just want to stop on the spying for a second. That it takes place, as you know, and including on the president of the United States and several presidents. And I just want to know if that's okay and why is it okay? Wouldn't an American lawmaker say to a client state, you're not allowed to spy on us? I'm sorry. I know why you want to. I'm not mad at you, but you're not allowed to.
Sure.
And I don't care for it. I don't want to be spied on by you. It's kind of weird not to say that, but you don't seem able to say that.
That exchange is fascinating. And I think there's a couple layers to it. Like, allies are going to spy on each other. Like, England probably spies on us, right? Like, let's be perfectly honest. But it shows the allegiance of where some of these guys are. And I think what he's trying to get to is, okay, is your allegiance in this argument to America and what benefits America, or is your allegiance in this argument to Israel and what benefits Israel? Because I think that's a clear distinction that you need to make when you're thinking about this stuff. I want Israel to defend itself and help them defensively and all that. But the things that Ted Cruz is advocating for, or the Lindsey Grahams of the world are advocating for, or Senator Lankford out of Oklahoma, I don't think benefits the United States at the end of the day. A long-term war in Iran doesn't benefit the United States. It doesn't benefit us at all. It does and will benefit Israel. And I think that's what Tucker was trying to get at with Ted Cruz. Fascinating interview. The whole thing's available online. It's definitely worth a watch, and I suggest that you do. And I just love seeing two smart guys go back and forth on this, because it's fascinating to watch. And I'm in for these kind of arguments. I really am. 10:53. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cover Nash. You hear me talking about my friend Shane Ring all the time because he's one of the best. And if you need health insurance, well, you need to talk to Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Shane's got a brand new option on the market that could be a game changer for you. The new plan will bring your deductible down to just $250. Not $5,000, not $8,000, only $250. And the best part is you don't have to wait for open enrollment to switch and start saving money. That's the biggest misconception in healthcare. Got to wait till open enrollment. You don't. You can actually talk to Shane Ring today, and he can start saving you money right now. He's been doing this for over 20 years. He'll shop the entire market for you, 75 different companies. So whether you're self-employed, between jobs, or just plain old overpaying, Shane can save you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. Stop wasting money. Don't throw it out the window. Call Shane today, 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023. Online, covernash.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Drivers in Cool Springs, we have a crash. It is blocking the right lane, 65 southbound, right before Moore's Lane. Today's Supreme Court ruling on sex transitions for minors. We've got a full report at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, a bit of a programming note. So, the big SCOTUS decision coming down with Attorney General Skrmetti getting a huge win. Skrmetti is going to be joining Matt Murphy today at 5:05 to talk about that SCOTUS win. Huge get.
Murphy Show.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew it. Didn't I say it though?
You called it earlier.
I texted his people and I was like, hey, let me see if I can get him. Let me just see. And then I said on the air, I said, Murphy's got a good relationship with those guys, so they're probably going to go on Murphy's show. I know.
Called it.
I know. But hey, we're going to have a fascinating interview tomorrow.
All right.
So we talk about her all the time when these topics come up because I'm just a fan of her bravery and the inspiration that she provides to detransitioners. Chloe Cole, one of the most notarized, well-known detransitioners in the movement.
Excellent.
She's going to be calling into the show tomorrow at 9:35 to talk about that journey, what she's been through, and what this SCOTUS decision means to her. So I'm really looking forward to that interview. They reached out to me, so I'm hyped. I'm hyped to have Chloe on tomorrow. Looking forward to that conversation. Sir. Also, just as like a listener, really excited to hear Skrmetti on with Murphy at 5:05. Like I do. I listen to Murphy's show just like everybody else, man, because you can't turn that thing off. So 5:05 today, Skrmetti on that huge, massive SCOTUS win. That is going to be appointment listening. I'm looking forward to it. You should too. It's 11:01. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Looking at some weather here, at least the potential for severe weather. Looks like a good part of Middle Tennessee's under a level 2 out of 5 risk. Everybody under at least a level 1 out of 5. Those with the highest risk look to be along and west of 65 and then north of 40. We've got the full forecast for you here in 5 minutes. More on our breaking news as the Supreme Court ruled this morning that a Tennessee law banning transgender medical procedures for adolescents in the state is not discriminatory, ruling 6-3 to uphold the law. At issue is whether it violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. MSNBC legal analyst Danny Savalos.
When you have an equal protection challenge, that means that the law makes classifications based on a protected class. And if the distinctions are not based on a protected class, a non-protected class, like, for example, medical diagnoses, then the state has a lot of discretion, and the court really, really emphasized that.
Well, all 3 liberal justices dissented in the case. The Tennessee law in question prohibits states from allowing medical providers to deliver puberty blockers and hormones to facilitate a minor's transition to another sex. Metro Council here in Nashville adopting a new budget. It runs $3.8 billion, and employees will get a 2% pay increase. There's money for parks. Looks like and benefits to pay for it all, property taxes to hike $2.81 per $100 of assessed value.
And it really feels like this cake was baked before it actually got here. We got 20,000 here, 80,000 there, a little bit there, little sprinkles on the top, or maybe flavoring the icing a little bit. But this thing was fully baked when we got it.
As Councilmember Jeff Eslick there, the new budget taking effect on July 1st. And we're waiting the Federal Reserve's decision on whether to cut interest rates. President Trump telling reporters this morning he's tried to convince Fed Chair Jerome Powell to make cuts.
I'd go, I'm too late. Come on, too late. Let's have dinner. I do it every way in the book. I'm nasty. I'm nice. Nothing works. He's like just a stupid person.
Stocks are trading higher ahead of that decision. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch the show. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and our personal favorite, YouTube. YouTube chat's always jumping. Feel free to get in over there, add your comments to the YouTube chat, or you can get us on the text line or the phone line, 615-737-9986. A couple people really mad. There's a couple people really mad. And there's a couple people that really agree on the text line. It seems like that's been the case the past few days. This conversation between whether or not we should be involved in Israel's war with Iran has divided the conservative base in half. In half. Now, the majority, overwhelming majority, myself included, we understand that Iran shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. We get that. It's just about, okay, what does that mean? What does that look like? And then regime change. I don't like the idea of regime change. I think it creates an absolute mess in the region. We don't exactly have a good track record of regime change with other nations. We just don't. And it always lands us in the area of unintended consequences. So I'm not for that. I don't trust that we'll make the right decisions. And I don't trust that we won't be in another quagmire. That pisses a lot of people off, believe it or not. There's a lot of people that get very, very angry. So, you know, I played the Ted Cruz, Tucker Carlson clips, and they got people calling me Neville Chamberlain. Hey, that's what Jim on the text line, he always calls me Neville Chamberlain. I don't want to get involved. I get called a big sissy. That's okay. It's okay. You got to take a side in this one way or the other, right? So I don't want to ride the fence, and I'm going to tell you I don't support getting involved in the war. Now, the U.S. State Department, Tammy Bruce is their spokesperson. She's great. She's not advocating for forever wars, and she said that the president isn't seeking forever wars. She says, well, I'll just let you listen to her.
That is up to the president. He is the singular guiding hand about what will be occurring from this point forward, as he has been. And I think that dynamic is pretty clear. He says he wants an end, as he has said about every conflict that he has, as a peacemaker, worked to stop peacefully through diplomacy. That has been his commitment. And he wants these things, as he said, about a number of situations. Not for a month or 6 months, but durable ends to this nature of forever wars. And that has been his posture, and that's his posture now.
And I like that she's reiterating those statements from the podium, that his posture is still anti-forever war. And I will go on record. I'm grateful that it's President Trump in this position as opposed to who else could have been in this position. Because I don't think that this conflict would have been avoided if Kamala Harris was in office. I think we would still have this conflict, and it would be a heck of a lot more messy than it is with President Trump at the helm. Personally, I'm grateful that we have the president here. Listen, it is late for Iran to start negotiating. It is an absolute mess. POTUS has been asked over and over if he's going to bomb Iran. He says nobody knows. He's not really looking to get involved like that. But only time will tell. It's not POTUS that I'm worried about. It's the advisors around him. That's what makes me nervous, honestly. Now, we are getting news that the Trump administration, they're closing their embassy in Jerusalem today, and that's due to possible retaliatory strikes from Iran. This news broke last night on Fox. Brian Kilmeade had the breakdown. Let's listen to Kilmeade.
Retaliatory strikes on U.S. bases in the Middle East if the United States joins Israel's war against Iran. That's after the president met in the Situation Room for over an hour today, just broke up an hour or two ago, with the National Security Council. We're also learning the U.S. is closing its embassy in Jerusalem starting tomorrow through Friday. Fox's Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with all the latest. Trey.
Brian, good evening. The Iranians continue to target major Israeli population centers with salvos of ballistic missiles. Just a few minutes ago, Tel Aviv was targeted. Take a look. Right now, there are ballistic missiles being fired at Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. Currently,
I mean, it's just terrifying scenes coming out of it. Let's not beat around the bush. And my prayers for the Israeli people. And on the flip side, my prayers for the Iranian people. There are going to be a lot of innocents that are caught in the crossfire of this. And I don't want to see it expand. I don't want to see it get worse. I just pray that POTUS can land us in a situation where we have peace. Mike Johnson has been commenting on it. He said Iran was very close to nuclear capability. And Trump has been crystal clear through his career in politics saying that Iran could never have a nuclear weapon. There are some individuals online who are making the claim that that is talking points coming down from the Trump administration. And you've seen that echoed in quite a few places, that Donald Trump has been a model of consistency, saying Iran could never have a nuclear weapon. And I see the voices saying that that's talking points. And I don't necessarily disagree that it's talking points. I don't necessarily think the White House is pushing that. People are saying that they're pushing that on influencers. I think it's just the reality of the situation. I think the truth is the truth is the truth. So, yeah, he has been a model of consistency on that. Earlier today at the flagpole unveiling at the White House, President Trump was asked if he had a message for the supreme leader of Iran after Donald Trump called for unconditional surrender, and the Iran supreme leader, the Ayatollah, said, no, that's not going to happen. We're not going to surrender.
What do you say to the supreme leader of Iran said that they will not surrender?
Say good luck.
What is the end game?
I mean, he is a savage. Shrugged his shoulders. I say good luck. I mean, we saw the Truth Social post last night where he said, listen, I know where you're hiding. You're safe for now. I do like Trump's posturing on this. I still do. I don't want a forever war, but I understand why he says things publicly the way he says them. He wants that unpredictability. He does.
Say it. It's already run out. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Yeah, they had 60 days and a big, 60 days, plenty of time. And they made a mistake. Honestly, they made a mistake. Their country's in ruins. So many people are dead that shouldn't be dead. It's a very sad thing.
It is. And I just don't want to see that death expand, and I don't want to see that death to start include U.S. soldiers at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. And then people will call me big sissy. People call me Neville Chamberlain. I just don't. I don't see the benefit in it. Death and debt. That's not a way to make America great again. But Trump did say on the White House lawn they are not looking for a long-term war. Again, this is President Trump earlier today.
Some of the people in the base don't want a long-term war. They're afraid that we're going to get into a long-term war.
We're not looking for a long-term war. We're looking. I only want one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
That's it. I'm not looking long-term, short-term. And I've been saying that for 20 years. I've been saying it as a civilian who got a lot of publicity. People would cover it. Very simply, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's it. It's not a question of anything else. And if you did, you wouldn't have much of a country because they would use it on us and they'd use it on other people and there'd be a terror all over the world.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I don't want boots on the ground, though, either. It's a tough position to be in. Steven in Paris, who's been holding for a minute. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Chris. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Thank you for holding. I appreciate it. What's up?
Yeah. Hey, so like what Trump's just saying, I mean, here's the position where we're at. I know the party's divided and there's these people saying this and these people saying that. But really what we're looking at is we have the bomb to destroy the bunker where the last of the possible nukes could be.
Yep.
And we're within days or minutes. So that's the intel on the ground, right? So here's what we're looking at. Either they're not going to cut a deal. The guy's not going to agree to an unconditional surrender.
Where did you see days or minutes?
From the news broadcast that has been put out there on the different media channels, mainly Fox and other things that I watch on YouTube. So that's the whole theory of we really don't know, right? Well, somebody has intel that silo is the last silo where the nukes could be held 30 feet underground. So, we're either, and we have the bomb that can destroy it. Nobody else has the bomb that can destroy it.
Well,
So here's the question.
Israel has said that they could go at it on their own, and they could
Well, yeah,
reach that.
that's what I was getting at.
They don't have that exact bomb, but they could take a swing at it.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Israel has air superiority right now in Iran, right?
Yep.
So why don't they have and this is possibly going to happen. And I think a regime change is going to be faster than what everybody else is predicting, because it's really just going to be an election once we get the guy out of there. But the first priority is
but you're really hoping and wishful thinking that a country in that region is going to be able to do an election. I mean, we did elections. We did elections in Iraq. Don't you remember the purple finger? How excited everybody was. How's Iraq doing?
I know, but I think that will work itself out. I think it'll be faster and easier than a lot of people think. Another question is,
hold on. I think, but no, we can't just gloss over that. It's going to be a lot faster than people think. We thought that shock and awe, we were going to take Iraq in a weekend.
Yeah. Well, this is a whole different matter. The top priority is
how is it different? How is it different?
Because the operation that will have to take place involves us, or it involves us and Israel. Or if Israel goes and seizes the silo and the bunker, and what's going to happen with the stuff that's there? They can dismantle it, they can sell it, whatever.
So you would advocate for Israel to put boots on the ground and go actually seize that location?
I don't know what that would look like, though, Chris. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
The peaceful option is to let them operate and either throw this guy, capture this guy, or destroy this guy with minimum casualties. To have an election for regime change and to seize the silo. The other option is for us to blow the bunker and let U.S. and Israel do the rest, or however it plays out after that. But the top priority is that bunker. That's the top priority.
I understand that the bunker is the top priority. Israel's saying that they could get it on their own. I'm just really I completely disagree that regime change would be as quick and easy and as simple as the way you're framing it. You know, the Tucker Carlson Ted Cruz clip that's been going viral, where he says how many people are in Iran, how many different ethnic groups are in Iran. That's important, man. You take out the leader, you got 92 million people left in that country.
And what's the percentage of the people that will
you have 12 different ethnic groups. And different religions and competing ideologies. Yeah, but in that region, man, they're going to decide not through a ballot box. I think that it would be a little bit more bloody than what you're saying.
Well, yeah, I say we'll let the people decide, but something's getting ready to happen, because all those people left Iran. I've seen them on the interstate, and I mean, where are they at right now? They're all sleeping. They all went somewhere. And where did they go?
But we did the same thing with Syria, and Syria devolved into a civil war. 600,000 lives lost, and you still have people that fled Syria living in tents.
But you can't compare that situation to the situation at hand, because this is a much greater, much dire, more serious matter that has to be solved. We're down to the last minute, I believe, and we are already in it. No matter what anybody else says, we are in this. And I look at it not from a political standpoint. Honestly, I see Israel as Jesus' people, and we have to defend them. And if they have the intel on the ground of what is about to take place, then we have to intervene.
But you can support the Israeli people and love the Israeli people and still say, I'm not sure your government is making the right decision. You can do both. Half of that country doesn't support the Bibi Netanyahu government. Like you understand that too, right?
Well, I just hope the best for everybody, and I think our president has a tough decision to make. I think we have the military knowledge and the power to go in there and seize that bunker and throw that topple that government, let the people decide who their new leader is going to be, and let Iran prosper.
See, I appreciate the call, and I appreciate how long you held, man. I really do. Yeah. And I appreciate the disagreement, and I appreciate the discourse, because like neither of us are yelling at each other, screaming at each other.
I understand. Which
I
we're
think,
all going to disagree.
Yeah,
we're still in the same party.
Yep.
We're still for the same
100%.
thing, but we all split it up a different way, you know?
Yep. And I think that's huge, right? Like we got to do it. But I have some fundamental disagreements with you.
Well, top priority, that's what I'm worried about. People's safety. Top priority is get in there, get that bunker, or disable it. One of the two.
Okay.
It's got to happen.
If Israel can handle it on their own, you're fine with that.
Yeah, 100%.
They said they could. I think we let them.
Well, maybe that's what we're going to see, an attempt.
And I hope so. I hope that we let them, because I don't want to put our soldiers in the line of fire on this one. I don't. We already have so many.
We can do it. We can do it, man. I'm all for it, man.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Steve. I really do. Thank you so much. 615-737-9986. If you want to join the conversation, let's go to Bob in Spring Hill. You're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Bob?
Thank you, Chris, for taking my call. Man, I appreciate your factual information. You're making some very compelling factual points that your listeners really need to hear. You know, I venture to say Steve's never served in war. War is a horrific thing, and you're speaking of 12 ethnic groups in Iran. There are 14 ethnic groups in Afghanistan, which explains a lot of what the complexities and some horrendous foreign policy from the Biden administration. I'm in complete agreement. You know, be prepared. I do take some tactical issues with the administration of moving forces from the South China Sea because of the China situation. That's a whole other thing. I don't have privy to the specifics of the need there. However, you know, I'm in total support of the United States not being involved in this at all. Now, being prepared in the detente, in the diplomatic saber rattling, that's fine. Deceptive diplomacy works extremely well.
100%. It's information warfare.
Reagan told told the Secretary of State, or asked him, he says, what does Gorbachev think about me? And the Secretary of State told him, he says, he thinks you're one crazy SOB.
That's
Reagan
perfect.
says, exactly. That's exactly what I want him to think.
Yep.
I want the Ayatollahs. Israel can take care of this. Now, what we have to watch for in the country is a false flag action by the Israeli forces to draw us into this. That's happened before. Liberty and numerous other situations. I'm not going to, and you're very correct when you say that the Israeli government strongly corrupt. Netanyahu's counterpart politically is probably far worse than the Biden administration, and is very, very evil. And there's forces there that would destroy the success or the political effectiveness of Netanyahu. He's the man for the moment for Israel.
Yeah.
Trump is the man for the moment for America. We need to stay out of this. Now, the caveat to that is if Iran hits one of our bases or hits
That's
one
a
of our
game changer.
forces,
That's a game changer.
Yes,
You're absolutely right.
different story.
You are
Let
absolutely
all
right.
hell reign.
Yep.
And let it be demonstrative. Let no one have seen what we're capable of doing in not a bogged down war, because the bloodshed of an insurrection in Iran would be multiple over what we've already experienced of 20 years of the never-ending wars. And he's dismissing people who are strongly in favor of this that we don't get information on, but he's holding the line, you know, and I'm strongly opposed to us getting involved because the Jews can do it, and God bless them.
Hey.
Thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Bob, and you know, thank you for that. But for everybody that agrees, you know, everybody's split down the middle. There are people that disagree. Rob in Nashville, he disagrees. What's up, Robert? How are you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, Chris? It's been a minute. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, hey, we agree on a ton of stuff.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and we've talked before. Our daughters are the same age, all that stuff, and we agree on all of this. you're 100% right on a lot of this stuff. You really are. Cruz, you played the clip of Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz.
Yep.
And I agree with both. I heard Dan this morning with you and Dan.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit on his side on this. Now, Cruz is arrogant, but he's real smart, and he does have access to intel. I like Tucker in spurts, but he can get quite full of himself and just kind of belligerent at times.
Fair enough.
Too.
Fair enough.
So we're square on that. Lindsey said he's not, or excuse me, Cruz said he's not naive enough to think that there's, certain things aren't going to happen. And that's kind of where we are with this. Neither one of us want an extended war, especially for our kids.
Yep.
Right? I've got a son and a daughter, and I don't want any of that for them. And Trump has come out and said that, correct?
Yep.
Now, what you have to realize is, and you've said this already, there's 12 different factions in Iran. There's 12. The one that is in there currently, if you actually look at it, seriously feels to their core that they are the regime to bring on worldwide Armageddon. They state that. And that means biblical, whether it's the Quran, the Torah, or the Bible, whatever. They think it is their goal to bring on that. And that is why Trump is so adamant about this regime cannot have a nuclear bomb.
Well, I think Trump is right to say that. And I don't want Iran to have a nuclear bomb either.
He is. Now, here's the ugly part that nobody is talking about. At some point, you got to fight. And and everybody keeps forgetting about this. Everybody's talking about Israel.
I feel like that point is right now, and the fight is Israel's, and I think Israel can handle that fight.
Who's the big Satan and who's the little Satan in this whole scenario?
I keep hearing that, and I understand where you guys are coming from, but Israel can handle this, so let them handle it.
That's what everybody thinks.
I would
whether
just
that's true or not. None of us have access to that.
I'd be much more in favor of taking the leash off of Israel and letting them do what they need to do, as opposed to getting our troops involved.
I would feel better about us taking our B-52 stealths over there with a couple of bunker busters, busting that up.
Yeah, but then the retaliation. But then the retaliation is going to be right on our U.S. troops, like immediately.
Anyways, aren't we?
What is that?
Aren't we already kind of doing that? Aren't we already kind of doing that?
No, we're operating defensively and sharing intel. I mean, I guess this is where we hit the crossroads, right? But hey, Rob, I do got to break for news, man. I'm not trying to cut you short, and I appreciate the call.
Hey, have a great day, man.
Hey, you too, man. God bless. 1129 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Tennessee's ban on transgender medicine and surgeries stands. Details coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
11:32 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. On the way, everybody's favorite segment, the lightning round. We're going to hit through a bunch of topics that we haven't had a chance to talk about today. Plus, we'll give you the opportunity for your last-minute hot take, or perhaps it's a nice cold take. Either way, 615-737-9986. The lightning round happens after the news with Ken Weaver.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Everyone in Middle Tennessee is under a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather today, but everybody north of 40 and west of 65, you're facing a level 2 out of 5 risk. So a little more enhanced there. We'll keep you apprised. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Well, the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of the Tennessee law banning the use of gender-affirming medicine and surgery for transgender children. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
It's a 6-3 ruling upholding Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care such as puberty blockers, hormones, and surgery for minors. Chief Justice John Roberts writes, the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause does not prohibit the state from enacting such a law, and that the issue is for the people and their elected representatives, not the courts, to decide. Liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote a dissent, and she said she did so in sadness, adding that the court, quote, abandons transgender children and their families to political whims.
Well, you can learn more today on Super Talk 99.7 WTN's Matt Murphy Show. We're going to have State Senator, the State Senate sponsor of that bill, Majority Leader Jack Johnson. He's going to be live at 3:35 this afternoon. And then Tennessee State Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti will be joining the Matt Murphy Show live at 4:05. Getting some breaking news on Social Security benefits. This is from CBS. Social Security on track to deplete its trust fund 1 year sooner than previously predicted. It's going to be 2034 instead of 2035. This is when the federal retirement program will be required to cut monthly benefits by about 20%. And President Trump at the White House today restating his concerns for Iran's nuclear program.
We've been threatened by Iran for many years. You know, if you go back and look at my history, if you go back 15 years, I was saying we cannot let Iran get a nuclear weapon. I've been saying it for a long time, and I mean it more now than I ever meant it.
Trump, during his first term, scrapped the Obama administration's 2015 nuclear deal with Iran, which would have expired this fall. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you need a new AC unit, you should do it in the month of June. You should do it with Busy Bee because you'll be entered to win a free 3-day beach getaway. That's right. You purchase a new AC unit in June. Busy Bee is going to give you a free vacation. You could win this. 3 days. They'll handle the vacation, gas, lodging, 2 meals a day, all on Busy Bee. They'll announce the winner on Facebook. So if you need that AC unit, just a little more incentive to go with our friends at Busy Bee. And maybe you don't need that. You can still save some big money with Busy Bee. Free package upgrades on air duct cleaning this month, $500 off select tankless or upright water heaters this month, 15% off whole home drain repipes, and just $99 for a full drain video inspection. Or you could save $79 on a water heater flush. Don't forget, this month as well, Busy Bee is giving you 2 years for the price of one when it comes to the Beehive Club membership. Just $99 gets you 2 years. So much value there. Front of the line service, 10% off all repairs, no overtime or holiday fees, and more. It pays to be a member of the Beehive Club. For satisfaction guaranteed, you call Busy Bee, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com. 11:39, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got Mason Fleming producing. We got Ken Weaver in the newsroom, and we got you guys all over the place. I mean, you're in the YouTube chat. Find us, hit like, hit subscribe, do all the things. You're on the text line, 615-737-9986, and also on the phone lines. But it is time now for everyone's favorite segment of the day. This, my friends, we call the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
I got a lot of stuff for the lightning round today. Anything that you have, last-minute hot takes, cold takes, whatever you got, 615-737-9986. A lot of people wanted to weigh in on the Iran stuff. You're more than welcome to do that as well, 615-737-9986. Any topic we've talked about, any topic we haven't. There's been a lot of news today. A lot of news. I mean, the immigration stuff has been huge. Donald Trump, we had zero illegal aliens released into the interior of the country in May of 2025. Compare that to May of 2024 when it was 64,000. That's insane. We have nearly 1 million self-deporters. President Trump is crushing it on immigration. We had the SCOTUS decision come down today on 6-3 party lines, ruling that it can be illegal. You're allowed to make it illegal to ban gender mutilation surgery on minors and puberty blockers on minors. Thank you to SCOTUS. Thank you to everybody else that was involved in that. A.G. Skermetti, Matt Walsh. We'll have Chloe Cole joining the show tomorrow. She is just an inspiration, a detransitioner. Chloe Cole's going to join the show tomorrow at 9:35. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And anything else that you guys want in the lightning round, 615-737-9986. This is the lightning round. Elon is building a tunnel. He might be building a tunnel. We've heard that he could build a tunnel. I'm not a huge fan of the tunnel idea, to be honest with you.
Not a tunnel fan?
I grew up in Boston during the Big Dig, and you go from the back seat to the front seat to the driver's seat all throughout my childhood, and by the time the Big Dig was finished, that tunnel was already out of date. And I understand that the ground here in Tennessee is a little bit more rocky than it is in Las Vegas. I wonder if Elon could even do the tunnel. So, yeah, Afton Ben called him a grifter and a scammer. And I'm like, I feel like you could attack this tunnel without attacking Elon, right? Like, wouldn't it make more sense to, like, hit it from a more logical perspective? But no, Afton Ben doesn't know how to do that. So, shout out to Afton Ben. Got another story here in the lightning round. Jake Tapper was on C-SPAN. Do you know C-SPAN does like a caller show? Have you seen the C-SPAN caller show?
Yep.
It's actually pretty hilarious because people call in and they say base things and C-SPAN doesn't know what to do with it. But this one caller, Jake Tapper's on there hawking his book. And he's, the book about, oh my gosh, did you know Joe Biden was mentally incapacitated? And this caller rings up and she goes, Jake, we need you to focus on President Trump. I kid you not.
But right now, I really don't like you. I think you're doing a disservice to Joe and also to the American people. When are you going to examine, what is going on with Trump? Joe Biden conducted himself for 4 years taking care of the United States. He took meetings. He went overseas. He negotiated.
He took naps, shook hands with dead people, fell up the stairs, broke his foot, chasing a dog after he got out of the shower naked, pulling his tail. Simple things.
With other leaders, this president has been pure chaos, which indicates to me that there is something wrong with him.
The Democrat voters, man, they are suffering from heavy TDS.
We will never get a straight answer on his medical examinations, what medication he is on. And yet you have gone after Joe Biden with a vengeance that I'm very disappointed in you. I enjoy watching your show, but not anymore.
My favorite part of all of this is Jake Tapper sitting there with like a half smile, just taking it. Just taking it from this leftist liberal. I enjoy your show, but not anymore. You should be looking at President Trump and not President Biden. Clearly, Biden was at the top of his game and running circles around everybody. And clearly, Donald Trump is a day late and a dollar short. Jake Tapper, you're terrible. I hate you. I used to love you, but now you're a piece of trash. It's your average Democrat voter. Yeah, they still can't see what's right in front of them. So that's a story for the lightning round. And Brian wants to join the lightning round. What's up, Brian? What do you got?
Dude, that was a lightning call. So when you're talking about Biden and all the stupid stuff he did, you forgot to say, I think, when Jill said you answered every question.
Oh, my gosh. That was best. That was the best. That was right after the debate. Does it blow your mind? Does it blow anybody else's mind that we haven't even had a year since the Joe Biden-Donald Trump debate?
Dude, it's Trump speed. I had a shirt ordered that said Trump speed on it, and I took it out of my order to have this one made that I have on today. It proudly says, guilty, with a big exclamation point and a picture of stupid Joe, and then at the bottom it says, of treason. All right, bro. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining the lightning round, Brian. Appreciate you, man. Got another story here for the lightning round. That's when you hit it, Mason. Speaking of Jake Tapper, CNN eyes massive staff cuts as the parent company is eyeballing a breakup. Warner Brothers Discovery announcement to split into two companies is leading to panic, with network insiders saying there will be tears on the horizon for CNN. The dwindling cable network is now viewed as a lackluster asset that could see big cost-cutting measures and restructuring. Oh, my gosh. The worldwide leader in news. Now you're looking at it as a liability if you're the head honcho over there at Warner Brothers. The corporate breakup is scheduled to be completed by mid-2026. It's going to take Warner Brothers Discovery Entertainment and streaming operations from its traditional cable television holdings. CNN is going to fall into the second group, which will be headed by current CFO Gunnar Weidenfels. Putting a bean counter as CEO sends a very clear message. This is finally the beginning of the long overdue correction of the Zucker-era excesses, one insider told Fox News, referring to former CNN chief Jeff Zucker. So CNN cuts on the horizon. That's just another story here for you in a lightning round that we know that you need to hear. There it is. Yeah, this is a story in the lightning round. You know who reported to jail yesterday?
Ooh, who?
Bob Menendez.
Really?
Gold Bar Bob, baby. He's in federal prison.
Let's go.
This isn't going to be your summer country club federal prison. This is going to be don't drop the soap federal prison.
It'll be nice and padded, but not for the right reasons.
I mean, this is a story you blink and you miss it. And I don't understand why we haven't had more focus on this. I mean, I understand all the stuff going on takes a bit more of a higher attention span from the collective audiences of people that pay attention to the news and politics. But this is a big story. Bob Menendez was being bribed by a foreign government. And he reported yesterday to federal prison to begin that 11-year sentence after being found guilty of 16 bribery and corruption charges last summer. So Gold Bar Bob, you're in prison, man. Have fun. Have fun. You think any Democrats are going to put money on his books? Or do you think it's going to be like, a street gang where like, we'll take care of you, bro, and then you go in and everybody forgets your phone number? What do you think is going to happen?
New phone, who dis?
Yeah, I feel like the Democrats are going to lean more on the street gang side of things where they're not going to put any money on his books.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. How do you put gold bars on your books? Does anybody know? The New Jersey Democrat is in custody at the Federal Correction Institution, Schuylkill in Minersville, Pennsylvania, where he is likely to end up in the minimum security camp. So that's actually not going to be a don't drop the soap kind of prison. It probably will be a country club. Menendez, who prosecutors said accepted bribes of hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, gold bars, mortgage payments, and more, was found guilty on all charges, including bribery, fraud, and acting as a foreign agent and obstruction on July 16th. It's been a long time since he's been found guilty. I'll be honest with you. I would have fled the country. Why didn't he flee the country? What? Why? Wouldn't you flee the country? Like, he's old. He's an old guy. I would have been like, deuces.
I'm in danger.
Exactly. And then you leave. Menendez, who prosecutors said accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes, cash, gold bars, mortgage payments, pled guilty. He resigned a month after his conviction, was sentenced in January, along with co-conspirators Wal Hanna and Fred Dybes, two New Jersey businessmen who received more than 7 years and 8 years, respectively. In exchange for that money and luxury items, federal prosecutors in New York said the ex-lawmaker agreed and promised to use his power and influence as a senator to seek to protect and they were going to take actions to benefit the governments of Egypt and Qatar. It's so funny. They've been accusing Tucker Carlson of taking Qatari money. but there was a Democrat taking Qatari money and nobody wants to talk about it. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird?
You can't handle the truth.
You can't.
That's the wrong one. Hold on. I meant.
Coincidence? I think not.
No, it's not a coincidence.
Not at all.
Donald Trump is being bribed by the Qatari government taking a plane. Don't talk about our senator that was actually found guilty of being bribed by the Qatari government, please. It's always projection with the left. It's always projection. Always. 100%.
Cheap fakes.
Yeah, always. I got another story for you here in the lightning round. You gotta be a little quicker to the trigger.
Bro, I'm bouncing around hotkeys right now.
All right. The New York Times put out a hit piece on Elon Musk.
Ooh.
And they said he was on drugs. Yep. Elon responded yesterday. He put his drug test up on Twitter.
Nice.
With the caption, LOL. And it was negative for everything.
What a way to do it.
That's how you do it.
It's like, oh, hey, by the way, here you go.
That's how you do it.
There you go.
The Times report claimed that Musk was frequently consuming ketamine, ecstasy, magic mushrooms, citing people familiar with the matter. However, the allegations appear to be false, according to a June 11th lab test that showed the SpaceX CEO to be drug-free. They're worried about Elon being on magic mushrooms, but they had no problem when Janet Yellen under the Biden administration went over to China and ate magic mushrooms with them.
China.
That's right. I didn't know China had magic mushrooms, but they do.
I didn't either. I thought that was a sorry.
I can't remember
that was
all
a
the
Japan thing with Mario.
Yeah, I can't remember all the details of that story, but I do think that they fed them to her on purpose. She didn't know. And she was just tripping balls.
Just zonked out of her mind.
Can you imagine Janet Yellen on mushrooms?
I don't think I want to. That sounds like a bad time for everybody.
Oh, I would pay money to see her on mushrooms.
Oh, yeah?
I would.
Yeah, put her in a room full of people in giant rabbit uniforms.
And that's Ken Weaver closing out the lightning round here on Super Talk 99.7 WTO. When we get back, we'll check in with Chad Benson. Hang out with us. This is Super Talk. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, they're the best. And they understand that President Trump was tried to be stopped by the left about 34 times. You remember that, 34. They're not going to forget that number 34. The left failed. We got the big 47. And the Wellness Institute of Nashville doesn't want you to forget that 34. So all month long, the $34 presidential special is yours. Just $34 for your first consultation, x-rays, and if needed, your x-rays if needed, and your first treatment. Only $34. Like Trump never quits on us. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, they're not going to quit on you. They're fighting your back and neck pain with non-surgical spinal decompression. So say goodbye to that pain, that sciatica, the tingling limbs, the sleepless nights, the disc bulges, and the spinal stenosis, and get back to doing what you love, pain-free. Without the pills, without the surgery, just cutting-edge tech in a futuristic facility. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley are going to get you back doing what you love. 615-246-5009 is the number to call. That's 615-246-5009. Don't forget to ask for the $34 presidential special and get back to a pain-free life. Visit painisbad.com.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
$11:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Chad Benson's in here. What's up, Chad?
What's up?
What are you focusing on today, man? You know Gold Bar Bob went to jail yesterday?
Did he? How long?
11 years.
Isn't his kid in politics now, too?
I think he might be.
Yeah, I think his kid's
you're right, in New Jersey.
His daughter's a reporter, and I think his kid's in politics, and his wife is, did they spare her or no?
I think they spared her. It was him and two associates.
Okay.
Taking money from Qatar
How
and
long?
Egypt. 11 years, but it's a minimum security prison, so it'll probably serve 4.
Trump will pardon him in 6 months.
I'm surprised Biden didn't give him a preemptive pardon.
I'm surprised. Well, I don't know if they really got along. You got to, and you have to probably be in front of Biden at that moment in time for him to think of it. Oh, yeah, Bob, too.
Who? Who's that guy?
Oh, goodness.
What's a senator?
What'd you talk about today?
I talked about just a range of topics. We gave Trump flowers on immigration. We talked about the SCOTUS victory, which is massive. And then we did Israel, Iran, and I
What's
did
up going on there?
Successful job of pissing off half the audience.
It's so weird that you can't be curious and ask questions and be hesitant, as if the same people that tell me we shouldn't believe anything the government says is saying we should believe them on this, as if they didn't lead us down ruin for 20 plus years and trillions of dollars and lost lives in the Middle East through Iraq.
Amen.
It's a question. That's it.
We should be allowed to ask questions.
We should absolutely, because otherwise we're going to be like Lucy with the football. All right, we're running at we're Charlie Brown running at it, and she's moving the ball, and we're like, well, that was us. That was my fault.
Yep. I hear you, man.
Silly, baby, silly.
Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7.